Welcome to the Big Idea Show, and welcome Adrian Lockwood.
Hello.
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 Adrian from the Creative Foundation, and we are talking about Digital Folkestone. What could it mean for you?
Yes.
I'm quite excited about this conversation because there's loads going on, and you're here to tell us the full picture of just what we've got to look forward to, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, good stuff. We're going to be back hearing more after these titles. Adrian, thank you for joining me.
It's a pleasure.
So we are talking about Digital Folkestone, aren't we? And what could it mean for you? Because we've been talking before we come on air, and I thought I knew some of it, but there is so much more, and we're taking quite a holistic look at this, aren't we? Because it's a big picture thing.
And there is a lot. There is
Yeah.
a lot going on, so it'd be good to go through some of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, but because I know it's gonna spiral and snowball, I'm sure. I'm gonna ask you the quick fire questions first. So we're gonna learn a little bit about you, and then we'll get into it. So, number one, what did you want to be as a child?
I wanted to be an architect.
Nice. If you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
Well, I would say architect, but
Yeah.
now I work with quite a few architects, and I think quite a lot of, and they'll tell you this, quite a lot of what they do is a bit dull. So I'm probably fine where I am.
Yeah. Okay, nice.
Let the architects do that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, best quality or value in yourself?
A lot of people say I stay calm,
Yeah.
which I wish I felt.
But
Yeah.
you give calm to others?
I hope so.
Yeah, nice. Okay. And what's a value or quality you look for most in others?
I think trustworthiness, if that's a word. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Just so you can, people you can rely on. I think. Yeah.
Nice. What's one thing in your life that you value the most?
I think it's okay to say in terms of value, but that would be my wife.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
More than value, obviously.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, what about one material thing then that you value?
Material. So I don't know. Does the dog count, or is that still that's part of the family still? Isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Okay, we'll take that one. We'll give you
Yeah,
that.
it's probably my phone that I use the most. That's the
yeah.
thing. I'd be most lost without.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
God, could you imagine if we took everyone's phones away? Like, it'd be chaos, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it could be fun as well.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe a social experiment. What
Yeah.
happens one day? Okay, and if you could impose one law, what would it be?
I would ban audible alarms of any description, car alarms, building alarms. That is totally unnecessary. I think, if you set an alarm off in a car, it should just quietly tell the person that's broken in that they're being filmed and an alarm's gone off.
Yeah.
And that big, horrible, noisy thing that wakes everyone up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah,
so
no
I'd
one
ban
reacts.
them.
Yeah.
I would ban them on day one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely. Be much more calm and peaceful.
that's right.
Definitely. Okay, good stuff. That was our quickfire questions. I'm impressed you've managed to answer them as quickfire questions, which has not really happened before, but I think that's my fault. My questions being too involved,
Too
maybe.
open,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so let's go on to Digital Folkestone,
Yes,
shall we?
yeah.
There is lots here, so I'm not going to try and summarise it. I'm going to open it up to you to tell us, what is Digital Folkestone?
Digital Folkestone is an idea that we had at the Creative Foundation some time ago, and then it was planned for a space that then didn't become available, and then something else happened in the summer. Is we got the Glassworks building over the road is our largest building. It came back to us quite suddenly, and it's now sat empty over the road instead of having 500 school kids in it. So we had this. So we had the digital idea, which was slightly parked, and a big lump of a building, loads and loads and loads of space, empty space, and that's where the two have kind of come together, really. So the idea, so the digital idea, there's kind of two aspects to that. One is to fill fill the building up, and then 2 is the kind of the sort of ideology behind it,
Okay.
which is the loads of other stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
That's not just people moving into an office.
Yeah. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that other stuff? Because that's something when we mentioned about it, talking about it kind of off air before we started, I was like, wow, that sounds really exciting, and something, in terms of how I heard it, could help and be a benefit to everyone in Folkestone, not just people who might potentially use that space in a direct manner. So can you tell us a little bit more about that element of it?
Yeah, so I think the thing that people are going to see is, and the advert that we've got out at the moment is for office space in Folkestone, which will attract people to the town, and we're getting interest from people outside of Folkestone, from London and other places. So that's the bit people are going to see sort of early on, is people moving into the offices. And these will be companies, individuals. There'll be a variety of spaces over there, from one desk to enough space for sort of 50 people in a company. Well, not even one desk, like no desk, just an ability to be there and be like a member. And obviously so as they move in. The project as such is so the two elements of the project are to have the building ready for that. So that's just getting the building in, dividing the building up and having the right things in there for that to happen. But we're really keen that it isn't just an office full of people working in digital. I don't know if you know the kind of background of the Creative Foundation and our sort of property.
Loosely.
So the properties that we've done up in the old town in Folkestone, we then rent out to people, to creative people.
Yeah.
So we're always asked, what is a creative person? And that's the answer to that is that's decided by a committee.
Yeah.
And when we've had sort of wrangles in the past about whether someone's creative or not, and who knows, that's totally subjective.
Yeah.
But we have taken the decision that somebody who's in digital is creative, whatever their area.
Yeah.
So if someone's developing a new medicine, the fact that they're at the cutting edge of their science, that we think that makes them creative.
Yeah.
Well, our board have said that that's creative, so I'm letting the property on that basis.
Yeah.
So that's made my life a bit easier. But so that's the kind of the underlying, that's the context of the Creative Foundation and who we rent the properties to. So digital fits in that way. And that'll be good for the town, having a few hundred new start-up companies, people who are employing people, and these will be good. These will be good jobs. Yeah. So that's the bit that people will see. The bit that I wanted to sort of talk to you about, which is the idea, the idea behind that. Yeah. Which, I mean, because we could have really put anyone into those spaces, and then you'd end up with a sort of an office block full of people sitting at desks. Yeah. 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 So the idea is to have the wraparound for that. So the attraction for someone just as an example, the attraction for someone coming to London might not just be that the rent is lower than their London office. The attraction might be that they've got Wi-Fi and they can go and sit and work on the beach, or it's a much better place for their children to grow up. Yeah. And so there's the whole lifestyle thing and those choices, and really people in digital can mostly work anywhere in the world. Yeah. And you see these teams of people. It's a proportion of them are in the UK, and the rest of them are spread around the planet, coding and doing this kind of work. So the idea is to have that kind of wraparound for that. And that would really encompass everyone. Yeah. So we'd start, for example, with something like a coding club. Yeah. Or these something like this, where young people, you see them, they're building like basic computers or tiny little robots, and these kind of things.
Yeah, and this is like school kids. Isn't
This is school kids, and it's can be out of school as well. So things, an evening thing or something at the weekends, and you see a lot of this around. But there's nothing like this in Folkestone at the moment. So I think. And then, so what you're hopefully doing there is you're starting to give these young people an idea that this is something they can go into. Yeah. So then they start to choose their learning course in that direction. Yeah. And we're steering them away from architecture. No, I'm stuck. I don't know why I'm stuck on architects, but so that they might think that that's an idea. Yeah. To study that further as they start to make choices.
Otherwise considered, right?
Yeah, they might just never have exposure to that. Yeah. They might play loads of computer games but have no idea how they're developed. Yeah. So that's whereas they could actually start building their own games. From you see 5-year-olds coding.
That is amazing, isn't it?
No, it is incredible to see. But then to have that support going through, so that tenants, when people move in, there's that kind of business support for them. There's networking. We're going to hold conferences here in Folkestone, so there's that kind of networking, business support, and knowledge, and opportunities for partnerships to form, collaboration, and so on. So it will start to affect people. Not just the people there, but the people around them and the general community. Yeah. So I suppose the challenge, if you like, I'm making today is, this is going to come to you at some point. Yeah. Folkestone Digital is going to appear in your life somewhere. Yeah. Whoever you are. So, but what is it going to do for you? Yeah. Is it going to be your kids? Is it going to be your grandparent? Silver surfing and kind of, is it kind of, so watch out. Really, that's my message. It's coming. Yeah. We don't entirely know what it is yet, but that's the fun. That's the kind of challenge. That's the exciting
bit. Right? I love this idea that it's the full life cycle of digital. That it starts with a space, but as there's more digital people, they may put on events, kind of work together, but it's also, like I said, providing those skills and experience to young people, right up to, providing workshops for, like you said, the silver surfers, and what starts in one place expands, doesn't it? You mentioned, we've talked before about this kind of learn and return. Can you touch a little bit on that? Because that, for me, I was like, that takes this discussion of digital to a much bigger and further reaching benefit for the whole town. So can you explain a bit what the learn and return means in this context?
Yeah. When I first heard it, I've literally just come back from a conference in Sweden where there were a group of people from different parts of Europe with similar issues in their towns. They're kind of rural towns, rural areas. And they're finding, their young people leave and go off to study, but then don't come back because there's no opportunity. So this came out of the German contingent. That's the first people I heard use this expression, and that is that people are going to go off and study. They're going to leave their hometown. Yeah. People leave London to go and study. Try and get as far away from the parents as possible.
We'll do it, don't we? Yeah.
So that's normal and natural. Yeah. It's just creating that environment for them to come back after. So that's the meaning. That's where that comes from. Yeah. And so it's how can we inspire them to make that their education choice, and then when they go off, they'll come back afterwards, and form part of that sort of new community in Folkestone. Yeah. And that's really our idea about, stopping this, or helping to stop this issue of an ageing population. Yeah. So it's all, I moved to Folkestone 10 years ago from London, but I'm not going to be helping the situation in 15, 20 years' time. I'm going to be part of the problem, you know. So I understand that, you know, we need people here of all ages. So that's really behind the idea, that learn and return. And this is a way of starting to create that infrastructure in Folkestone that will make it attractive to do that.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess digital's a growing kind of industry, isn't it? That, you know, definitely for the foreseeable future, there's going to be lots of opportunities, lots of jobs. It's well paid. There's always a demand for it. So it's a great, like you said, go off, study it after having their taster of it, potentially kind of in their school as part of this, go off, study, and then go, actually, you know what, this is the place to be, to come back to.
Yeah, why would you want to go, you know, why would you want to go to California? I mean, what Folkestone, California?
Yeah.
I can't see the attraction. Yeah.
We've got it all here, haven't we? Definitely.
Yes, so, yeah, that's the idea.
So how do then, you were saying kind of it's at this great, the time where I love it, it's like that idea stage. When I say it's more than that, it's like how I'm hearing what you're talking about, it's like it's this vision and we've got this opportunity and it's great to then go, right, and how do we do it? And there's so much possibility. What's the how for you that you're seeing? You've got the idea, you've got the vision. How are you looking to then take it forward and how can people be a part of that?
Well, here's another one of the sort of big pluses for digital is that you know, this is a sector that's finding different ways to do things. So I can't really sit here and say this is how we're going to do it. I think the challenge is to say, you know, is really kind of see what, you know, what the need is and how what people where is the value, you know. So I could say, in all honesty, we don't really know what we're doing, but that's not entirely true. That would be a bit unfair. That would be a bit unfair.
But I always think that's the most wonderful place to be, because then you open up and you say to people, like, right, you know, what do you want, and you take that kind of input, don't you? And then you get the opportunity to build something that people really want, because, like you said, you find where the value is. Yeah,
it's interesting because I mean this trip that I just came back from, this is around some funding. So we're in a partnership with these other countries, and that some of that funding can be used to fund this activity. And the nature of that funding is also quite vague. So you don't say, I'm going to set up a coding club. You just say, we're going to engage X number of young people with a view to them choosing a digital career. That's it.
Okay, yeah.
And you can do basically what you like with that.
Yeah.
The great thing is we're in with all these other partners who've got experience in this. Some of them have got other ideas, you know, like the group from the most northern part of Denmark. Like it's the most remote. It's a little island, you know. It's just, you know. And their thing is like oyster farming, right? So their idea is to get young people inspired to farm oysters and to do it sort of PDQ before all the current oyster farmers retire, which is imminent. Yeah. So I mean that's a different challenge for them, but they're talking about digital solutions to this problem. Yeah. So although it's not a digital project, it's a project about stopping, you know, or keeping young people in an area. That's the fundamental basis of that project. But you know, and there are different approaches to that. But there is a kind of current theme, and I think that comes from the fact that it's such a growth area. You know, if you just talk about things like autonomous cars, just take that as an example. You know, in 10 years' time, none of us might ever have to drive again. You know, well, it doesn't matter if it's 10 years or 30 years or next year. It doesn't matter. Yeah. The fact is, I think we're all fairly sure that's coming. Yeah. As soon as you start talking about it, it's only a matter of time, isn't it, before it becomes a reality? Yeah. And then, of course, at that point, none of us will need a car of our own. Yeah. Because they'll just stop outside your house and you'll get in. Yeah. And, you know. So what does that mean? Yeah. You know, what does that look like on our streets in Folkestone? No car. Well, just a few cars.
Yeah.
And one car picking up 6 lots of kids and taking them to school instead of 6 cars.
Yeah.
And who's developing all this? Where's, and so that's just one idea.
Yeah.
We were talking about smart fridges, ordering your shopping for you, and all this
really?
kind of, this.
Oh my God, I've not heard of that.
Yeah. So you just barcode your stuff into your fridge, and then it tells you when it's going off, what your next menu should be, and then it does your online food order for you when it knows you're kind of running out of milk or whatever. Yeah.
You can check the sell-by date and be like, you think you've got milk, but actually you haven't because it's 2 weeks out of date.
Actually, you really want to be having cauliflower cheese tonight. Not what you thought you were having because anyway. So I'm not sure I want to be told what to eat by my fridge.
Keeps you healthy.
Anyway, we know this is all coming. VR, AR, all the there's and sort of virtual currency. That's another whole area of.
Yeah.
So that we know it's coming. We don't know what it means, and most importantly, who's going to understand all this stuff, because it's probably not me.
Set the vision, and then it's like having that's the exciting thing of it, isn't it? Having ideas and people come forward that you never knew existed, right? Because once you inspire people,
absolutely.
they come up with ideas.
So going back to the original question about how we're going to do this, what we really want to encourage is for people to help us with that.
Yeah.
So how do people how are people going to get involved with in this, and what is the best way of doing this?
Yeah.
And when we're quite up for being quite disruptive about this. We're not necessarily thinking you're just going to sit people down in a room and tell them stuff. There's lots of different ways that we can do this.
That's exciting.
Does that sound a bit spooky though? It does not like
No.
we're not coming in. We're not going to sort of turn up in your home or something unannounced. But
you're not going to start talking to people through their fridges.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you must buy a quarter house ticket or something.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a bit Big Brother, that, isn't it?
It is.
No, so I think in all seriousness, we don't know what we're going to do, where it's going to go.
Yeah,
we're open to good ideas. We're absolutely prepared to take risks and try different approaches.
Yeah.
And so at this point, we in terms of the space, we got that back 5 weeks ago. So we're really right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And this was the meeting I've just come back from, was the kick-off meeting for that funding, and that runs for 3 years. And everyone's in the same boat there. We're all right at the beginning of our projects, wondering what we're going to do, where it's going to go.
Yeah. Well, you've already got me kind of thinking, the cogs are going, like, what sort of exciting stuff, because like you said, when you combine the whole thing and look at the full cycle of it and going, what workshops could be done, what stuff with education, anything, right? I
know, it's fantastic. And I think so I'm talking quite a lot about new people coming in, but there's already a cohort, there's already a sort of thriving
like community
group.
Of people, right? Yeah, they've got tons of ideas.
Yeah.
This sounds like a great kind of outlet for them. Okay. So if people, is there any, like you said, you want people to come, like ideas to come to you, is there any particular groups or kind of that you think are particularly relevant? Like we mentioned, training for, or kind of opportunities for young people. So I guess any educational based stuff is something that's going to be of interest. Any other particular areas, or is it literally a case of, if you've got an idea about how we can be using digital to make our town even better than it is at every stage and at every scale, and keeping people here and keeping them wanting to be here, then come to you and
absolutely.
ideas.
I mean, at this stage, we're just kind of formulating the how, and so anyone who's had experience in kind of seen it working elsewhere or has come from particularly other countries and so on. So anything like that, any ideas people have seen working and or things that they want to try out, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then sort of quite early on in the process, we're gonna organise things like hackathons.
Yeah.
So we can really challenge. We could set a challenge like how do you make it traffic flow better around Folkestone using digital, and so then you can start to have the conversation about Folkestone being a smart town or having smart roads.
Yeah.
That they're not like one-way or two-way roads, but they can be any-way roads that that go different ways at different times of day and so on. Are those kind of all clever, smart solutions for traditional problems?
Yeah.
And then we're going to create spaces and platforms for people to come and express themselves, and space to do so, and kind of encourage them to do so as well. So that it's the right environment for ideas to sort of come out and flourish.
Yeah, definitely, and because that's what it's all about. I remember speaking to who was it, Dave Borton and Sam Capel, kind of about art and how the environment, and something they were very much saying was like, it's just Folkestone's provided us, and like Creative Foundation's provided us a space, and that's all we need to then express what we want. And it's kind of really exciting to go, and now it's exactly the same but for digital. All you need is that space and kind of that prompt to say, hey, that question, what could it be for you? And then you let the magic happen, right? You let the seeds start to flourish and grow.
We hope so. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so if people, what's the next steps? Like, how should people and that people get in touch if they're like, wow, I've got an idea, or I want to learn more? Where would you say they should go? Digitally, I assume.
We're myself and my colleagues are all on our on the Creative Foundation website.
Yep.
So you can contact us, email, or I would strongly advocate some form of digital
communication. Anything but rock up in person.
Digital.
Keep to the main, probably the best, right?
So do get in touch that way.
Just get in touch,
and then we're looking to sort of do a formal launch of some description in the early part of next year. And as part of that, we'll have a better idea of how we're going to go about finding out what we want to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we ought to be a step closer to knowing what we're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Without still not really knowing what we're doing.
That's the perfect balance, though. Having something, having that conversation, but keeping it broad so that the new ideas keep coming, because that's how you be creative, right? Is in uncertainty and unknown and possibility. So I would encourage people to contact us. Yeah. Or look out for January, February next year, and come along to whatever we put on as part of that launch. And I really would encourage the people who are here already. There will be new people coming in, and they'll bring sort of new energy and different perspectives. But it's very much about enlivening the existing community as well. Definitely. And they'll be the ones that are here in January. The new ones won't be here at that point. So we get the say of how this develops. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good stuff. You're in at the front, as it were. Yeah. In first. Adrian, it's been absolutely wonderful chatting. Thank you for the opportunity. No worries. I look forward to hearing more about how it develops and potentially, some new ideas. They always can't keep those ideas away, can you? So thank you very much. Great, thank you. Bye. Thank you.